Unpopular opinion. PBC brands their fighters differently. Vergil Ortiz is from Texas and just did 6,300 in Texas at a venue that could be calibrated for $14K. Errol Spence Jr. fought a no-name mandatory, Carlos Ocampo, back in 2018, and he did 14,000 plus. Tank is from Baltimore. Be more where you gotta be more careful. He did 14,000. Barclays Center, New York, where he's not from, he fought Rolando Rolly Romero, and he did roughly 19K. It was high 18s, right? Hashtag ego. That's what I'm gonna talk about right now in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, you know the best in the business is back, and we gotta talk about some real things because I see a lot of PBC hate, especially on Twitter, you know, some on YouTube and things like that. But one thing is, on my channel, I do what I want, and that remains true my whole career. And I give credit where credit's due. I think that's one of the things that has given me longevity in such a, you know, fun but also corrupt, kind of dirty game of boxing. And we got to speak the truth. Dan Raphael, boxing reporter, he said it is official. Hashtag Ortiz McKinson attendance was 6,315. Now, you know, say what you will, but I think this, to me, this is not great because I'll explain why throughout this video. That's why you guys got to stay tuned to the end of this video. To me, this is not great. There were a lot of gaping holes throughout the venue and things like that. And for years, we've known about Vergil Ortiz, right? People have wanted to see Vergil Ortiz, and Oscar De La Hoya almost had a commotion with Ryan Garcia. Not almost, he did have a commotion with Ryan Garcia. And that was because they were at odds, because De La Hoya said his best fighter is Vergil Ortiz Jr., not Ryan Garcia. And Ryan was like, just release me if that is in fact the case. You know, I'll go elsewhere. So you see right here, this is the venue that they had the Vergil Ortiz versus McKinson fight at the Dickies Arena. And it says, Dickies Arena is a 14,000 seat multi-purpose American arena located blah, blah, blah in Fort Worth, Texas. Vergil Ortiz is from Texas. So what I know about Texas, and I'm not from Texas, you know, I represent California, and I've been to Texas several times. And at the end of the day, Texas is a sports state. I can't just say boxing, sports. The Longhorns, the Texans, the Cowboys, they are a sports state. The Rockets, right? Texas is also, I come from a big state. So Texas and California are the biggest states in America, right? So I understand you have a lot of fanfare and a lot of money and a lot of commerce because at the end of the day, they're big states. A lot of people live in these places, especially in Texas, because Texas is cheaper than California. So a lot of people move there in search for, you know, more income or more opportunities, whatnot. So I do know Texas is a sports state. So the fact that you have a Mexican-American Vergil Ortiz Jr. and he's fighting in Texas where he's from, you would imagine that it would probably be a bigger crowd than, let's say, 6,315. Errol Spence showed you, and I'll get to that in a second, but he showed you what's doable in terms of fights, right? And they did 6,315. I attribute that to a few different things. One, I think the promotion for the Vergil Ortiz Jr. fight was pretty pathetic on behalf of DAZN Boxing and Golden Boy Promotion. I didn't really even see, a lot of people didn't even know the fight was coming up, whether they like Vergil Ortiz, want to see him or not. And this was a rescheduled bout. Two, I think the choice of opponent. DAZN keeps doing these fights where it's American fighters, you know, Mexican-American, black fighters, constantly fighting British fighters. And that's never been historically a trend. Like in boxing, you've usually seen a few relevant at each given time English fighters. But now DAZN, they keep making this as if this is a huge rivalry. Like Eddie Hearn, you know, maybe him being a front man for DAZN, that's been part of his shtick, right? Where he'll match, you know, Danny Jacobs versus John Ryder, or Canelo versus Rocky Fielding. These aren't big fights, right? These aren't big fights that everyone thought Rocky Fielding was the best in the division outside of Canelo, right? And I think that's a major component here with Vergil Ortiz and Michael McKinson. Like if you would have put him in there with Jaron Ennis or somebody, these will all obviously be bigger fights. But like I said, unpopular opinion. People keep saying Tank needs to step up and fight someone, and people constantly talk about Errol Spence, but let's talk numbers. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. So when it comes to branding, you look at the Spence fight, he fought Ocampo, and they said he did 14,200 people in the Frisco at the Star, which is the practice stadium. This is back in 2018, as I stated in my tweet. So in 2018, he's fighting a virtually unknown guy, but he was already a champion. He only had one belt at that time. I know these things because I was at that fight, right? And Errol Spence took this unknown person and they still made an event. It was his mandatory. I'm not mad at Errol Spence because every fight's not going to be the biggest fight. And then after he gave you Mikey Garcia, after he gave you Sean Porter and then Ugas and Danny Garcia fights. So, you know, occasionally they're going to be fights, but I'm just going to show you that the promotion is clearly different from what Golden Boy is doing. You got a guy with some talent and some power. He looks hungry, and Vergil Ortiz Jr. And when he fights an unknown British guy, the attendance is 6,300 in Texas. When Errol Spence fights an unknown guy out of Mexico, doesn't speak English. So, well, if Ocampo speaks English, he didn't speak it for the press conference because I was there, you know, and he wasn't really doing a bunch of interviews, or he's not this charismatic Broner style opponent. So Errol Spence had to carry that whole promotion, and they still brought 14,000 people out. So it goes to show you, you know, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. So Errol Spence, he's definitely carrying his weight in the division. Now, another thing is, I also compared Tank Davis. Tank Davis, I was at his fight when he fought Rolly. He fought Rolly, or actually not the Rolly fight, but we'll start there. Rolly fight, they did like 18,900 or something. So basically, rough estimate, they rounded that to 19,000. And I could pull, everything I'm saying is true. So you guys could pull it up yourself, or you could take my word. Boom, 18,970. That's 30 people shy of 19K, broke records. I was at Tank's fight when he fought in Baltimore. He fought an unknown Ricardo Nunez, and they did 14,000. He fought in Atlanta, where he's not from. You know, Tank's from Baltimore. So you could say, one could argue, oh, it's Tank Davis. Of course, he has a hometown advantage. Baltimore don't get too many events, so that's why I did those numbers. Okay, when he fought in Atlanta against Mario Barrios, again, not really a household name, he did great numbers there too. So it's showing, and then not to mention the stars that are showing up. Announced attendance from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, where Tank is not from, 16,570. And it was on pay-per-view, so they're making more money on the back end. The attendance for the Gamboa fight was 14,100, and I'll put it pretty in pink, and that was for the Gamboa fight. So with all this praise that Golden Boy is giving Vergil Ortiz, they're not putting the same type of promotion in it. They're praising Vergil Ortiz and saying he's next up and wants to fight Jaron Ennis and Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia, you know, all these guys, but they're not promoting him like that, and they're almost focusing almost all their energy and efforts, it looks like, into Ryan Garcia, which is really weird, because at the end of the day, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Let me know how I did in this video. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. It's just something I had to mention because a lot of people hate on PBC, but you can't hate on the branding and the numbers. And I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new, interactive, and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, Gym or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.